Greetings everyone, Gleekon here again with another episode of Lore of Warcraft. On the last episode, the Horde, led by Orgrim's little faction, teamed up with Zul'jin and the Amani Trolls, had pushed all the way up to Silvermoon City, where they started faltering and weakening because of the magical defenses of the Elven Runestones. So they started destroying them, breaking them down. Gul'dan gets a little bit of power, and they were able to start recreating the Ogre Magi. So stay a while and listen to this one. It is called The Ashes of Quel'Thalas. Things probably get worse for the elves. With the runestone desecrated, the Horde's Death Knights and other spellcasters regained their powers. Orgrim's forces stormed toward Quel'Thalas' capital, Silvermoon City. They terrorized the countryside, pillaging settlements and cutting down every elf they found. King Anasterion called on his greatest generals to stop the Horde's advance. Elf magi and rangers spread across Quel'Thalas to resist Orgrim's forces, but they did not have to fight alone for long. Turalyon and Illyria soon arrived with half of the Alliance army. While Turalyon organized his soldiers and launched attacks against the Horde, Illyria met with Anasterion in Silvermoon City. She urged the Elf King to pledge his forces to the Alliance, but he needed little convincing. Anasterion was furious about the Horde's assault, not since the ancient troll wars had the elves died in such numbers, not since that terrible time had their lands been so defiled. Humans and elves had once banded together to save their respective kingdoms from oblivion. Now they would do so again. The Alliance would have the full support and backing of Quel'Thalas. So you could argue now that anything else elf-related, the Elven Ballistae, the Elven Destroyers, all of that is at their disposal now as well. Though the Alliance and the Elves were now unified in purpose, any hope they had of a quick victory vanished in smoke and fire. The Red Dragons had come. After months of hard work, the Dragonmaw Orcs had learned how to ride their winged captives in battle, and that's not exactly how it goes. Dozens of the monstrous creatures appeared over Quel'Thalas. The Griffin Riders, unaccustomed to battling dragons, were forced to retreat. The Orcs and their mounts then swooped down on the Alliance armies, bathing them in gouts of flame. A firestorm enveloped the forests around Quel'Thalas, and smoke blotted out the sun. The enslaved dragons took no joy in the destruction, far from it. Many of them wept in sorrow as they slaughtered the elves and burned the life from the wilds. The roaring firestorm caused most of the elf defenders to seek shelter in Silvermoon City. King Anasterion's people had no physical weapons that could stop the Horde and its dragons from invading the elven capital, but they had something else that could. Elf sorcerers summoned an immense shield around Silvermoon City. This barrier derived its power from the Sunwell, a fount of magic that served as the heart of Quel'Thalas' culture. For thousands of years, the elves had used its energies to construct their kingdom and protect it from outsiders. The Horde smashed against the shield again and again, but the barrier did not give way. Even the Red Dragon's mystical fire could not breach it. Orgrim's patience was wearing thin. Destroying the High Elven stronghold had never been his priority. Lordran's capital was. Though Orgrim had not yet satisfied the Amani Pact, he had accomplished other things in Quel'Thalas. The gifted Ogre Magi now served the Horde. The Dragonmaw clan had finally brought the bulk of their winged servants to bear in battle. The Horde had also dealt a grave blow to Quel'Thalas, one that would take the elves many years to recover from. Orgrim began planning the next stage of his campaign. He would need a route to reach Lordran's capital from Quel'Thalas, one that would catch the Alliance by surprise. So I think that sets us up for, if you remember, the only real path they haven't tried yet is through the mountains of Alterac. And anybody that's played the game knows that there's a bad moment for the Alliance coming through there. So that will be our next episode, not our next episode, but our next bit of Chronicles. But that's actually pretty deep into the game. So as far as Chronicles goes, and anything past that in Chronicles is like end game material. Because as far as it goes, like everything's fully set up now. All the various battles that take place in the second game we've already pretty much mentioned them, or they're not mentioned at all. So we're going to pull back on all of that on this for now. We have a few chapters we have to read in the Tides of Darkness book to get us up to this point. And then I think we'll be reaching a pace where we can just sort of weave the Let's Plays of the game with the novel of the game and just kind of take it through that for quite a few episodes. All right, this one's in the pipes, 5x5. I thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode of Lore of Warcraft.